Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into something pretty amazing, how technology is completely changing the game in special education and really opening up whole new worlds of learning for students.
So let's just start with the big question, right? The one that's at the absolute heart of education. How do we make sure every single student gets a real shot at reaching their full potential? It's a huge question, and it's pretty much the engine behind everything we're going to talk about today.
And for more and more students and for their teachers and families, a huge part of the answer starts right here with technology. More specifically, with a whole category of tools that are designed to level the playing field. Okay, so in our first section, we're really just going to lay the groundwork. Let's get super clear on what this technology actually is, and maybe just as important, what it isn't.
So what in the world is assistive technology, or AT, as you'll hear it called? Let's just unpack that formal definition a bit. At its core, AT is any tool, and I mean it could be a simple app on a tablet or a really specialized piece of hardware that helps a student connect with their learning in a way they couldn't before. It's all about creating access and building on their capabilities. And what's so cool is when you see it this way, it just shatters some common myths. AT isn't a replacement for a great teacher. It's a powerful tool for a great teacher. And it's definitely not some kind of shortcut or easy mode. The big takeaway here is that it's a deeply personal tool. It acts like a bridge, connecting a student straight to what they're learning. It's all about personalizing the experience, not watering it down.
So we've defined AT as a tool, but to really get a feel for its power, we kind of have to understand the whole philosophy that's driving it.
And this quote, wow, it just completely nails the core idea, doesn't it? The point isn't to change the student, it's to change the student's access to learning. It's about fairness. It's about taking down the barriers so that the path to education is open to everybody, no matter what their individual challenges might be.
So, with that really powerful idea in our minds, what does this actually look like in a classroom? Let's jump into some real-world concrete examples.
Okay, just look at this list. These aren't just names of programs, they're doorways. Seriously, picture a student with dyslexia who loves stories, but reading is just a huge struggle. Well, a text-to-speech reader doesn't just read words. It turns a wall of text into a story they can get lost in. It lets their imagination and understanding just take off. Or, hey, think about a student with these brilliant ideas that are basically trapped because the physical act of writing is so hard. Speech-to-text software becomes their voice. It lets them write an essay at the speed they can think. Every single tool here closes a specific gap and makes learning happen.
All right, so we know what AT is, and we've seen what it can do. But for parents and educators, the next question is usually the biggest one. With all these options out there, where do you even start finding the right tools? This next section is all about helping you navigate that world.
And that is such a real feeling, isn't it? The internet is this giant sea of information, and if you just dive in without a map, well, it's really easy to feel totally overwhelmed. So how do we find our way through it all?
I think this chart can be a great starting point. Like, if you're a teacher or a parent and you want some really deep structured training, online courses are going to be fantastic. But if you just need to find a specific app for a specific problem, those resource databases are your best friend. And for just support, community, and figuring out the whole system, advocacy groups are absolutely invaluable. It's really about finding the right kind of resource for what you need right now. And this tells us something so important. You're not supposed to figure all this out by yourself. Just look at that. Almost half of all discoveries come from teachers recommending things, and another 30% from online parent groups. This tells us that connecting with people and just talking about it is often just as powerful as doing the research. And that brings us to our final, and maybe our most important section. We've taken in a lot of information, so now let's actually turn all that knowledge into action. It really doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming task. Here's a super simple 3-step plan to just get the ball rolling. First, just pick one specific need or challenge, just one. Second, using that guide we just looked at, explore just one new resource that's related to it. And third, and this one is key, find one community. A forum, a group, another teacher, just someone to talk to. Small, focused steps, that's how you build momentum. And hey, if you need a little motivation to take that first step, just let this sink in. 80%. The huge, overwhelming majority of special education teachers, they don't see these tools as just nice little extras. They see them as crucial for their students' success. This stuff isn't just helpful, it's essential.
So we'll end on this question. When we use these tools really thoughtfully, we're not just helping a student pass a test, we're actually building a more inclusive, more accessible world. So what does that future look like? And what other incredible possibilities does it unlock? Thanks so much for joining me for this.